Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Tuesday at 11:28 a.m., January 12th, halfway through January. Definitely some interesting times. Today's title, The Horizontal Calm. Bitcoin is ranging. Not raging, but ranging. Obviously, we're going to look at the chart. We're going to look at some altcoins. And I want to talk about what Brian Brooks said about 1 hour ago. I want to put that into perspective. That has some serious macro implications. We're going to take a look at the dollar, 10-year treasury yields, and try and understand and put it into a bit of, we're going to frame it with obviously my the way I talk about portfolio management. And no better time to get the show on the road. Today's episode, along with all episodes, sponsored by Change Angel, the non-custodial swap exchange for social goods. Stop depositing on exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. Non-custodial, DeFi, or nothing at all. Bam! Let's pop it over to the main screen and see what's going on. Who's in the stream? Captain Weber, it's in the house. Top of the morning. Stelios, always a pleasure. Liz, good morning. A pleasure. Never go all in, never spread too thin. That is the name of the game. Do you have enough confidence in validators to stake 100% of an asset? Do you stake a percentage? Well, here's the thing. Clearly, there's risk in all opportunities, all trades, all positions. Frankly, I'm just staking 100% for Polkadot, the Cosmos hubs, Iris, Kava, Band, and Atom. And because it's so speculative, it's so early. This is years out. You're talking about if you have like 1,000 DOT, which was like 2,000 bucks at one point, um, and it becomes comparable to Ethereum, like it is today, and Ethereum goes 10x on its money. You have 1,000. You're gonna have a million. You're gonna have over $1 million. So you're so early that it's such a speculative position. And the most important thing I could just say is you don't need a large amount. You didn't need a large amount of a lot of assets at the beginning of 2020, and it just appreciated just astronomically. So the vast majority of your value could be stored relatively increasingly safe in risk-off hard money assets, and you take your speculative bets, and in a couple of years they pan out. They grow, they appreciate, they become what the narrative has expected of them. That's the name of the game. That's what we talk about all the time. Rick G's in the house. Barry, always a pleasure. Crypto Check, yes. Spank, good afternoon. Stelios, will we ever see less than $10 cost per Ethereum move? What, gas fees? I expect gas fees to keep going up. What's happened is clearly retail has been priced out, and you have millions upon millions upon millions of people out there with millions upon millions of dollars. So there's so much monetary velocity in the DeFi space. They don't give a crap about $100, $200, $300 transactions. You're moving around $200,000 in a trade. You don't care about $100 to $300 transactions. So this particular gas fee right now is at 119 for a relatively instant transaction. They don't give a crap. So that's just what it is. But there's some big changes coming, and that's what's exciting. And we're going to get into that. I want to talk about synthetics and their optimism, um, optimistic roll-ups. That's potentially one of, I could say that a lot. It's potentially one of the biggest things I see in the space, but that's about a lot of assets. Um, so it's hard to understate how many assets have just remarkable big picture macro perspective or potential. Synthetics rolling out optimistic rollups and L2, and instantaneous transactions, no gas fees, and basically what they're building is an ecosystem, a self-contained ecosystem on the Ethereum blockchain where money's going to go in and it's not going to come out. This Let's dive in. I'm expecting L2s to be like a black hole of liquidity, because psychologically, once you migrate to an L2 and you have instantaneous transaction fees, you're able to operate on the synthetics exchange in and out of transactions with no transaction fees. It's a black hole. You're not going to want to move it back out, or the vast majority, the trend will be to move in and not move out. And what's crazy about synthetics is the way you get value into the ecosystem is through minting SUSD using SNX. Um, Here's a good example. Take a look at how much of the synthetics total supply is locked. Let's take a look. I mean, you get 73% of the total supply locked. Value goes in; it doesn't come out. If when they launch optimistic rollups, their L2, I think I think this is just going to be explosive. The amount of value that's going to run in to experience what can be done with the platform the Kane and crew are building is just. Um, there's no way to know, obviously, and this is speculative, but this is the vision I see. This is the gut instinct I see. Psychologically, we're talking about emotions. We're talking about incentive and opportunity and I see all reasons that this is going to encourage the flow of value to go into the system rather than out, and that's going to cause an extreme supply disruption for synthetics, which is already at 73.35%. Do also consider that synthetics is ripping. It just goes up in value. It's at $14.11. This thing was pennies last year, and I myself got in at 70 cents at the beginning of the year. I think this thing's, I don't even know where it's going. All I know is that I see supply disruption. I see value going in, not coming out. I see synthetics producing 30% returns derived from transaction fees as well as an inflationary component. Um, I see them working with Curve and Curve for interoperability, liquidity in various synthetic assets, particularly, probably most importantly, is the stable coins. Um, and then Curve is just expanding into if they expand out of just stable assets, I mean, clearly, Wrap Bitcoin and Ethereum are on there at this point. But if they expand into other assets and they expand the scope of the platform, I think Curve is just Curve and synthetics. But I'm just, the assets we talk about, boys and girls. It just doesn't stop. Just the picture and the vision of how all this stuff fits together is just extraordinary. Who else is in the stream? Crypto Monks in the house. Always a pleasure. Lisa, welcome. Cheers. No, is there a new node to get since Ren has it so high? Still want the dark node though. Yeah, no, there's no. I mean, speculatively, StakeNet and BlockNet are highly bullish to me. I've held them for years. I think their time will come. I don't. I see it more likely than less likely that their time will come. No doubt, nothing's guaranteed, but they're a much more sophisticated deployment. BlockNet has service node, and StakeNet has master nodes. The master nodes are and service node are technical deployment, requires a server implementation, requires knowledge of the CLI toolkits for the daemons, the blockchain daemon. So, um, StakeNet D and BlockNet D. So a bit technical as compared to a dark node deployment. Definitely technical as compared to staking on the Ethereum platform. But if interested, those are two names in Syscoin. Um, and I think a lot of the UTXO assets from 2017 and earlier are going to really just come back with a vengeance and just not just surprise people. They're going to fulfill what they've been building for the last couple of years. They're building right now, and they made significant progress. The StakeNet decentralized exchange, the BlockNet decentralized exchange, the BlockNet Lite multi wallet, and their Infura replacement. This is some serious stuff that fulfill significant functionality, not only in the existing systems, the existing DeFi systems, but the emerging systems. And as DeFi continues to evolve, this is really where stuff like this comes into the picture. This is just tantalizing. Brian Brooks, 1 hour ago, in response to Brian Hubbard, said decentralized finance or DeFi is coming. The banking system and the rest of us need to get ready. You understand who Brian Brooks is? You know, you could talk about the establishment, and we could always say that the people in power, they're out for themselves, and they have their agenda. Sure, but you know what's most important is actually what is being said and whom he is. He's the acting. Here, I am pleased that Brian Brooks will become the acting comptroller of the currency. Brian Brooks is the person in the United States of America in the government that basically is responsible for banking regulation and telling banks how to operate and telling banks what they can and cannot do and establishing policies, rules, and procedures for companies that want to provide banking services. And this is what he has to say about DeFi. About smart contract based financial processing and platforms. So, yeah, I really think that frames the potential for the entire DeFi ecosystem, and what we have as retail, what we have um, what our responsibility as retail investors is to see this, understand the macro picture, and try and position ourselves to take best advantage of opportunities that present themselves. Considering this this is the most incredible sentence I've seen all morning. Incredible. Pretty amazing how Rook held up in the pullback yesterday. Absolutely incredible. What's it sitting at? Tell me it's over 200. 199 and change. Yeah, I'll just pull it up here. Yeah, Rook has stood up extremely well. $212. I mean, it just I I'm just tickled pink by the types of assets that are available. I mean, just Rook could easily 5x to 10x. I pulled this up a little earlier. Check this out. So basically, a unicorn is $1 billion market cap. And there are more and more and more assets moving into the $1 billion market cap range. This thing could easily 10x, and it won't even be $1 billion. It'll be $600 million, which would probably be on par with what Yearn is right about now. And a fully diluted market cap, sure, maybe not a 10x, putting it at $2.12 billion, maybe a 5x, which puts it at $1 billion, give or take. So it's going to continue to get diluted because of the Rook emissions, but those end in 18 days at the end of the month. But 5x to 10x, you know, you're talking $1,000 to $2,000 a token. Just saying, that's the speculative bet, and you don't need a large position. A small position going 5 to 10x. I got assets in I got positions in Fidelity that I've waited years to pull 5x's and 10x's. And this thing could do it in a relatively short period of time. It's an incredible opportunity. And the platform is just impressive and exciting. You got to read the white paper. I know it's going to be technical to try and understand the white paper, but just glance through it. I posted it on Twitter either late last night or early this morning. Just Google it, Keeper DAO white paper. And just what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build is a meaningful component of the DeFi financial system. And there is no competition. There is no project that is even remotely attempting to do what they want to do. Um, Igor says Bitcoin head and shoulders evolving now. So I saw a subtle inverse head and shoulders on the hourly yesterday, and it looks like it's performing well. I mentioned earlier this morning was pertinent is that this 100 SMA. But I mean, look, it putting in support on the 100 SMA, that's crazy, particularly because you got the 100 SMA, you got trend support, you got the 200 EMA, and what is that, the 200 SMA down here? You got so much support above 27,000. I know that seems like a large number to the downside, but I said the other day we could rip down to 16 and change and still be incredibly bullish on the monthly chart. Or maybe it's the weekly chart. Yeah, it's more so the weekly chart. I'll just show you real quick. Can I? I mean, this is just a nice trend right here, guys. This is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. So there's obviously significant trend. of higher lows across years. This is across years, boys and girls. So you could have a significant dip to the downside, or dare we even go like this? I don't know, but you can see significant dip, and then you have an incredible cup and handle multi-year. Would have been nice if this was a little lower, but still, check it out. You could have a massive dip, and then that would be just incredibly bullish. And there's the 16,000 I was thinking of. Obviously, I've drawn it differently a couple of times over the last couple of days. Um, Lisa Marie in the house, always a pleasure. Stelios, make an L2 solution, adopt maybe the initial Ethereum network will ease up. Yeah, possibly. At some point, I think L2s to start to spring up on all the major platforms. Definitely on Curve, definitely on Synthetics in the short term. Um, but I think L1 is going to remain extremely expensive for at least the short term to midterm. Um, Lisa Marie, howdy, pleasure. Jay Hallaby. Buying SNX is a bet on optimism. No, buying SNX is a bet on the platform and the desire for persons to take value and use it within their ecosystem that they're building. That's the bet. The bet is that there's going to be a massive inflow of value because the ecosystem is incredibly lucrative. It's going to be incredibly fast and incredibly cheap to do transactions. And to participate in that ecosystem, you need to buy SNX to mint SUSD, and that's how value enters the system. Pellets in the house, always a pleasure. XRP Cali unit, bam. Yes. Rocket ships from the crypto chick. Brian Brooks was tapped from Coinbase to head OCC last year. Exactly. That's crazy. Brian Brooks is a crypto boy, and he's just a well versed and well spoken attorney. And he obviously has extremely crypto centric policies leading the US OCC. He's the person in the United States that manages US banking policy. And let me remind everyone what he said 1 hour ago: decentralized finance, or DeFi, is coming. The banking system and the rest of us need to get ready. The most powerful person in the United States of America who manages banks said this on Twitter. Just saying. Crypto Check, I read the white paper you posted about Rook, but 2 a.m., but super interesting. Yeah, it's a doozy. It's a very sophisticated, lots of game theory, and very smart folks that are involved in the project. What they're doing is extracting value from strategic opportunities, analyzing the Ethereum mempool, and probably arbitrage, and obviously front-running liquidations. So it's just a lot of value to extract by being very smart, and they're very smart. And what the platform, so why is the platform valuable? The platform is a black hole for intelligence, because intelligent people are going to have access to likely hundreds of millions of dollars and are going to be able to use that money to make money. And that is an incredible incentive to encourage participation. And in the end, what I like to do is I like to fall back on human emotions, and that's really the driving factor in people making different choices and decisions: either participate or provide value or stake or do work. And that's really what all of this is. And the better you understand human emotions, the better you're going to understand how to position yourself strategically into positions of opportunity. I mean, literally, I just described to you synthetics. That's all emotionally driven. Value is going to flow into the system because there's opportunity. That's exciting, and it's likely lucrative. It's already extremely lucrative, and that's why people are doing this and participating in these platforms and providing $2 billion worth of liquidity to Curve. Emotions. It's all emotions. Can you show us where and how to store Polkadot assets with Ledger? I couldn't find in previous streams. Yeah, so Polkadot has an app for Ledger. Um, so this is how you store it. I don't. So the wallet app.js.org. I don't have my wallet available. I have Cosmos installed on it, and I don't have enough memory at the moment. Here we go. So you go to settings, You go to attach ledger via web USB. It's going to attach, and basically, yeah, they got a long way to go with their user interface. But the point is, you're going to have basically accounts. You're going to have a ledger account that pops up, and there's your address basically. And the address for that account will be the account from your ledger. Your ledger, the seed phrase will be used to generate an address. It'll display right here. So once again, settings, you attach your web USB, that'll be your ledger device. You go back to accounts, you're going to see the account pop up, and you click it, and that'll be your Polkadot ledger address. That's how that works. I got to check on it because I have I'm staking. So yes. Would you stake Link? Yeah, but I don't have enough liquidity available to take a position size that I want, so it's okay. I think Link's an incredible asset, and it's going to be extremely valuable. It's an integral part of the DeFi space, and it's proven itself time and time again as more and more meaningful projects have integrated its functionality. I just don't need to participate in it. This the bottom line is what I remind all of you. You're going to have a shitload of FOMO. There's going to be a huge amount of emotions running back and forth. You don't need to own every single asset. Don't go all in. Don't spread too thin. You can love Link. You don't need to buy it. We talk about all these assets all day long. Aave, they just has a staking component for their security module, and they're I can't load it. I don't want to log into MetaMask right now. But they just voted to raise the yield, something like 30%. So come on, you got assets running around at 30%. You got here, check this out. Oh, I'm not logged in, but basically the governance reward for 1inch is running at 50%. Curve, curve load. I mean, just look at these dismiss. Oh, fine. Yeah, look at the yield. You look at the yield. I mean, you get 20, 30, 40, and you take on a little bit more risk. You get 64%, 54%. This is an Ethereum pool generating 30%. Another Ethereum pool, STF is I've discussed STF, but then you have the VE Curve token. I mean, they're just and Bancor running around at 20, 30%. And then you just got the risk off, Celsius and BlockFi, and Keeper DAO. Who knows how much that's going to generate in returns? And then Ren with the dark node producing $600 a month last month per dark node. Folks, just this so much revenue stream. It's crazy. It's extraordinarily exciting. Uh, Pellets did mention, you pinged me on Twitter, that's right, Money Compound Finance behind them. Sure. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot. I mean, Alpha, Homora, these boys work with Yarn. This is another one, Homora.alphafinance.io. There's a lot. There's a lot of DeFi stuff, and these are big deals. I mean, they might have relatively a little bit of juvenile overtone through their presentation, but you got to remember these are some serious um, engineers. That the odds are this isn't their full-time job. Odds, but these are the smartest people in the room building these platforms. They're way smarter than me. They're building in Viperlang and Solidity, and they're building it in language that is something that I've never done professionally. It's I could do it over time, but these boys are the smartest people in the room. Um, it's non-trivial is probably the best thing I could say about the language that these folks are writing smart contracts in. The subtleties, the details, the edge cases to maintain stability and security. Yeah. So Curve has really set a baseline, and what happens is these contracts are all public and visible, the source code. So they're all building on each other. So they're all evolving. They're getting better and better, which is just that's why Brian Book said what he said. DeFi is coming, and the banks need to be ready because otherwise nobody's going to keep their money getting 0.01% with BlockFi and Celsius around 6%, and then decentralized finance running around a 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100%. Dare you get into the Uniswap liquidity pools? Um, where's Bancor? Don't I have Bancor up here? Yeah. Let's load that for a second. It'll take a moment. Crypto Chick, have you ever used MoonPay? I have not. Sorry, do not know. KJ's in the house. Always a pleasure, my brother. Good to see you. I promise I'll stop by soon. When alt season, February 1st, pellets? I have no idea. It no worky like that. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's drop it down to the 4 hour, which is where my eye is right about now. Okay, we got to zoom out. We got to bump it up. Oh, nope. Scale. I'll get back to Bancor in a second. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go. So, by the way, you guys see the dip. I mean, look at this run up, and this is the dip that everyone's talking about on the news. It dropped 20%. It just ran up from 13,000 to 40 grand. So look at that trend support as we zoom in on this pattern here. Let's give it some more height. As we zoom in on this pattern here, look at that trend support. Incredible trend support. We're above the 100 SMA. We're above trend support. We're above the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. You know, you can drop it down to the 1 hour and see we got a breach to the 200 EMA to the upside. And Stoke is just coming out of oversold. It'll take, you know, probably 1, 2, 3 hours to really see what's going on here. But Stoke's coming out of oversold. RSI is heading up the field, probably around 50 at this point, and the MFI is on the incline. You know, this is really the type of setup that'll punch through a 200 EMA to the upside, and the 100 SMA will be much weaker to punch through, harder to punch through the 200 EMA. But all things considered, we're above the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, and we look like we're in a good position to punch through on the 1 hour. It's looking bullish, boys and girls, especially that we have higher lows on the ultra short term, higher lows. And in some regards, we do have a triangular compression with lower highs. Let's see if we could draw that. You see the lower highs. And that's the way you draw this type of stuff. So lower highs, higher lows. Let's get rid of that yellow line. Let's zoom in a bit and we'll take a look. So there's your lower highs, higher lows. You know, what I would do, what I'm going to put up on the chart is there you go. Probably about a day or so, and we'll see what happens. You could either have a serious break to the upside or a breakdown. But a triangular compression pretty much puts a time horizon on, most of the time, on some since it's a compression, it's basically building up for price action, either to the upside or the downside. Because right now, the title of the stream, Bitcoin trending horizontal. And this is straight up horizontal. That's straight up horizontal, boys and girls. Yeah, that's the name of the game. I don't know when all season is, my friend, but it doesn't matter, and that's the point. And just like what happened in 2020, back in March, obviously it was everything completely tanked. But summer 2020, May, June, July, August, and then September 1st, I told everyone that the vibe has changed. But May, June, July, and August was absolute irrational exuberance. That was alt season. We haven't seen an alt season like that in summer 2020 in years, since 2018, 2017. It was just a period where you could throw capital around and you get in 20% a day, 20% a day, 20% a day on asset after asset. And if you look in the Wayback Machine on CoinGecko and you look at those time periods, you'll just see it. You'll just see it. You just sort by 24 hours and you'll see 20%, 20% on blue chip crypto assets, DeFi assets. It was just predictable. And we're not there right now. We're not there right now. But bear in mind that's also gambling. So all things considered, I still strongly advocate for having a well-structured portfolio, predominantly risk off. Place your bets now for the altcoins. You need small positions, 1% of your portfolio, 1% of your portfolio. Have 5 to 10 altcoins at 1% of your portfolio and 90% of your portfolio split between Bitcoin and Ethereum. You've minimized excess risk. You've maximized your potential gain and opportunity, because if 1% of your portfolio turns into 10%, and you have 10 of those assets, and this is crypto, so you have a much higher chance than less that more than one of those assets is going to significantly outperform. That's how you grow to the next level. That's how you turn $10,000 into $100,000. That's how you turn $100,000 into $500,000. And that's how you turn $500,000 into multiple millions of dollars. And all you need to do is rinse and repeat, seeing these alt seasons, seeing these periods of irrational exuberance, and seeing the crypto market for what it is, an emergent, nascent ecosystem. Bam. Crypto check. I love taking CDP to lend and earn, right? So bear in mind, so this comes into like debt and financials. It's okay to take on debt as long as the debt is manageable. And most important about taking on debt is that you're using the debt to make money. So many folks, the prevailing trend is to take on debt to buy uh, depreciating assets. People take on debt to buy homes, well, homes are appreciating assets, but people take on debt to buy cars. Now, it's understandable, but the car doesn't make money, and no one's really buying a house. Most people aren't buying a house to liquidate it, so their debt made money. But what's probably most notable is that you can take on debt so easily in the crypto space. No KYC on MakerDAO, and your debt is literally making 30% day one. That's what's happening. This doesn't exist in the legacy financial system. It simply does not exist. Yeah, Barnbridge is something I have an eye on. Pellets, that's right. Staff, always a pleasure. Welcome. Heirloom, my man. Heirloom, my man. Smack the thumbs up button. Tell everyone to subscribe. Is there anything else I want to go over? That's about it for today. Keep an eye on the dollar and the 10-year. So the dollar is pretty much what triggered this event the other day. But right now it's still sitting under the 200 EMA on the monthly, and this is probably where all eyes are right about now, in my opinion. Stoke is oversold. RSI is towards the bottom. If this thing rips to the upside and breaks above the 200 EMA on the monthly, it's going to take. This is what would cause the correction in the equities market, and it'll be fallout. It'll be just like the implosion of 2000, the tech bubble, or 2008. It'll be just an absolute like people will be throwing their assets and selling it cheaper and cheaper, and it won't stop going down. So the dollar is the wrecking ball, and this is where all eyes are. This thing moves in ticks, extremely, extremely slow ticks. So it's hard to really watch this chart. It's really annoying, but this is a falling wedge. It was just at the bottom. Do you see this little tick right here? Let me show you. This is basically what caused the dip the other day. This little damn ripped the upside off of that red line. That's what tanked the system. 20% dip in Bitcoin. Incredible, huh? Thank you, Crypto Check. I really appreciate it. 12:01 p.m., January 12th. Smack those thumbs up buttons. Tell everyone to subscribe. As always, I thank everyone for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. I wish everyone a wonderful day.